Sorry, I just accidentally stopped my filming, but anyways, not too much longer, right? But yeah, we are light. That is what we are. When the egg is actually fertilized, science has shown this. When the egg is actually fertilized, there is a bright spark of light that happens the moment of conception. Okay, the sun isn't hot. The sun isn't hot. That is the portal to life. Ra, son of the god of light, like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I'll be sitting here talking about it and get totally off topic. But point is that, and actually, technically, we're not even supposed to drink when we eat. We're not even supposed to drink, like, we're supposed to get the water that our body needs through food. Why do you think a baby doesn't drink water when it first comes out? Why is that? Do you ever wonder about that? Do you ever think about that? Why a baby doesn't need to drink, or it can't drink water when it's first coming out? Well, I mean, it wasn't eating any food through its mouth through the womb, was it now? So many things, there are so many lies and so many things that we've been programmed by our system to think a certain way. And that is what an awakening is when you realize, when you realize that all these things around you are not what they seem to be. When you've questioned deep down in your gut the majority of your life, why do I feel like I don't belong? Why do I feel different than everybody else? Why is it that I have such a hard time conforming to this society here? Because my gut was telling me the first half of my life, hello, listen in closer, because it's not what you think it is. And now I'm realizing why I feel this way. I've never, I like certain material things, but it doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't really care much about shopping. I like looking nice and feeling nice, but that's not what makes me me. What makes me me is the fact that I love to care and give compassion to people that need it and deserve it. That is what fills my soul. That is what makes me feel good, is when I'm able to be happy and relaxed and, nervous system regulated and not living on a fight or flight mode like I was the first half of my life. Realizing why I picked certain relationships and certain people in my life, understanding that and getting to the core of that, of why I kept making the same mistakes over and over again. But see, the problem was I didn't have the proper, my support system tried, I guess, to the extent that they knew how to try, but I was always judged. I was always judged because it's like, why can't you just conform? Why can't you just fit in? Why do you keep making these same mistakes? But it wasn't fair at the same time, because I don't even like calling it mistakes. We all need to live and learn. And then sometimes we even tell little fibs or little lies in our life that we may think that don't really affect things, but it does. Or not wanting to hurt somebody's feelings. And I shouldn't even say lying or fibbing. I should say more lack of communication, not communicating what we really feel inside. And honestly, that's the biggest lie of all. Think about it. If you're not fulfilling what you need inside, and you keep pushing that off to the side to give to others, thinking that, okay, well, I love them, so it'll make me. No, but you're not making yourself happy completely first, because you're trying to keep everybody around you happy. And I know this now that I'm in a place where I'm able to have this alone time with myself and my thoughts, and to figure out slowly on my own pace what it is I need, and not having everybody and people around me constantly making me feel bad because they're judging me in the wrong way. I didn't want to get put on this planet to be an addict. I didn't want to get into relationships that didn't nurture me, that just hurt me, because I just wanted to love. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do. And see, my, like, growing up, and now I'm getting totally off topic, but, growing up, and, you know, when your parents go through something like divorce, or, any type of adult issues, gambling, cheating, substance abuse, whatever it may be, the most important thing is getting through that process, that hurt, because that betrayal and that hurt then becomes anger, and that turns into rage, and that turns into judgment, and that turns into all the bad things that are on this planet that are causing this frequency of anxiety and judgment and hate, and it just gets passed around, especially now with the internet. I mean, no, we're supposed to forgive. And I've never really even been a religious person at all. But now that I'm actually, my job is I'm a living caregiver for a 94-year-old man, and he's very religious, and like I go to church with him, and now hearing like lots of Bible quotes and stuff like that. But doesn't the Bible talk about forgiveness? I mean, isn't that what it's really about? And now I'm not saying to be around people or places or things where you're constantly getting the shitty end of the stick, where you're not getting reciprocated back maybe what you're giving to them. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying though is once you've learned your lesson, we all have a choice. At the end of the day, we all have a choice. We have a choice to stay where we're at, or we have a choice to move forward. And see, when we stay where we're at, if we're not happy there, or we're with people that don't reciprocate back what we need, that's our choice to stay there. You can't blame them. You can't blame them for the hurt or the anger that you're feeling inside because you're not getting what you want. Only you could give yourself that. And once you realize that, once you truly understand that, then the forgiveness just starts to automatically come. You forgive yourself. You forgive yourself for putting yourself around the people that didn't deserve what you were giving to them. You understand what I'm saying? That's what's most important. That's what's most important. If you know in your heart that you've never, I'm not going to say that in my 20s, maybe early 30s, that I didn't get sucked into negative surroundings and situations where I didn't find myself being like, oh my God, well, did you see what she was wearing? But see, honestly, when I say that out loud, that's not even me. Like, I've never been like that. I've never liked to get caught up in that gossip and all that. It always felt wrong because it was. No matter, as long as people are willing to be redeemed, as long as people are willing to learn from their mistakes and move forward, then they deserve that forgiveness. They deserve that chance. It's the other people that if they're not willing to do that, then just wish them love and happiness, love and light to you then. No judgment. When you're in certain situations and you're with certain people, and especially if there's children involved, and you don't have the best influence around you, we can all get sucked into doing bad things, but that doesn't make you a bad person. I know that growing up, I was so scared of my mom because she held a lot of judgment in her heart because of my dad doing the things that he did and being the way that he was, and it hurt her, and I completely understand that. But then her hurt hurt me. Being a kid, not really understanding, but she did the best that she knew how. That's what I realize now. I can't expect or wish things maybe were different. They're not. They are what they are. And once I accepted myself, knowing that, okay, it's okay, Melissa, you tried though. That's the thing. Through all of my pitfalls in life, okay, I really did try. I really did. I may have not made the best choice, but I had to learn somehow, right? When you're an only child coming from a divorced family, you grow up pretty fast, especially when you're with adults that maybe aren't emotionally regulated themselves, and it's not their fault. My father didn't even have a father. My father's father died when my dad was 3. And then he didn't accept when his mother got remarried, and my grandparents all died when I was very young. I don't remember any of them. So, my parents didn't have the best support system either. And that's another thing, as we go through different times, different genres, different eras, we've gone through a lot of changes. Being born 70s, 80s, without technology, now with technology. It's being able to adapt, right? My mom just was so caught up in her hurt that it was hard for her to see mine. And I get it. I've been there. I have been there. I was so caught up in my own pain, of the failure that I was, my own pain of the guilt of not being able to hold my family at that time together, that the shame, it blinds you. And I get it now. I get it. My mom did the best that she knew how to do. And I forgive her for not knowing any differently, just as I would hope that my kids could do for me. I did the best I could with what I was dealt. I believed the lies from people that told me they loved me and told me they were there for me, because I wanted to believe it so bad, because that's all I've ever wanted. I just wanted somebody to hug me and say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. But it was always fight or flight, all the time. I remember being very young and, having to ask for money for my dad because we were struggling. You know what? My mom did the best she could. And now it's taken me a minute, but I understand now. I understand. And, I know that I never was purposely hateful to anybody. I was never purposely mean to anybody. I never sought revenge. That was never me. I've always been the doormat. And that's hindered me also, because I haven't spoke up. And that's why now I am speaking my feelings. And I'm hoping that somewhere out there somebody understands and can relate and feel the pain that I've gone through, and we can help each other heal through wounds. That's another thing. We're energetic beings. We're light. We're electricity, right? So when we hold our feelings, our thoughts create our reality. So when we hold feelings inside of us and we say, oh, well, I'm just going to forget about that, or I'm just going to bury it over here, or I don't want to think about that, and you don't actually process it, emotion, energy / emotion. So we need to process it and then push it back into the universe and transmute pain into power. But a lot of times that pain turns into anger. That pain turns into judgment. And so that's why I know it's very important. We need to speak how we feel. Regardless, just because you're talking about a situation that may have happened a long, long time ago, it doesn't mean that you're sitting there wanting pity or you're like, oh, this hurt me so bad, woe is me. No, it's obviously coming up for a reason. It's obviously floating to the surface for a reason. And that reason is because you didn't process it properly or process it thoroughly when you first experienced it, because we don't like to feel pain as human beings. We like to feel pleasure, but we need the pain. We need the pain for progress. How would we ever learn, people? How would we ever learn? Just like kids, we can't get mad at them. How many times as parents have we gotten mad at our kids because they didn't listen or they didn't do this? And sometimes we have to stop and be like, wait a second. Well, how were they supposed to learn? Just because I told them No. How could they do that? They need to experience it. But I did it. I let out a guilt for years with my last two kids because of all the guilt from the years before when I wasn't there for my other kids. So I dove in tenfold, baby. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do everything and anything so they don't have to experience any type of pain. Nah. No. My mother-in-law pointed it out to me, and I thanked her for it. See, constructive criticism, when you're able to take constructive criticism, then you know that you're really starting to truly be a healed person, that you're really coming back to yourself. Because that's how we grow. That's how we learn. Put the defenses down. And if the right person points it out in the right way, take it in. It's okay. We are not perfect. Nobody is. And we carry weights of other people all the time that don't belong to us or don't belong to that time period. But it's okay. It is okay to feel things that happened in the past because that means it's energetically stuck in your body. Do you know I've done how many yoga sessions I've done where I've actually, when I'm done, I'll start crying because I've released something and I don't even know why I'm crying. I have no idea why. I just know that I've released something. And it's okay. You should never feel ashamed for letting your emotions out. That is what makes us. Personality creates your personal reality. Remember that, people. I'm going to go, and I wish you all the best day. Get out there and get some sun. That's another thing that's really good. We need that. We need that to grow everything. Our body needs sun. We're literally like a flower. Think about it. Flowers need rain, right? But they don't need tons of food to grow, do they? Just like us. Have a wonderful day. I love everybody. Love and light to you.